I'm George Fergus. I'm the Director of Music at Christ Church Episcopal. Both my parents sang in the volunteer choir at the church that I grew up at, and so I spent most Sunday mornings sitting up in the rear gallery alongside them as they sang in the choir. I remember Christmas Eves at the late midnight Mass, falling asleep listening to the organ and the choir singing the prelude music at Christmas Eve, and so it was just part of my upbringing and something that I never really had one moment that was a transformative moment, but just an accumulation of just being part of my childhood and my traditions. The initial most challenging part, I think, is everyone's biggest step up, pun intended. Going from piano to organ, you all of a sudden add two more appendages into the mix and getting that coordination. The organ is known as the king of instruments because it has so many different palettes of sound at its disposal. You can get a very soft, slushy string sound that almost imitates a full string orchestra playing with mutes on. You can have festival trumpets that imitate a brass quintet and can almost compete in terms of sound. And then you have all of these other resources at your disposal to really craft whatever soundscape you can possibly imagine. In the particular pieces that I'm playing on the 15th, they are each drawn from a set of 6 character pieces, and each one has a very evocative title. The first is named Naiads, and you can almost, in the very opening bars of the piece, hear Louis Vierne's emulations or evocations of these naiads, these sprites dancing around in a moonlit glade. The second piece is called Clair de Lune, Song to the Moon, and so you can hear that peace and that serenity coming through the music and the long lines of the solo flute. And then the third piece is called Toccata, which is just an Italian word that means to touch. But Vierne takes what might be an otherwise stereotypical form and turns it into this roiling, almost a seascape at night in a storm of constant waves and crashing thunder. All of his work has so much character and so much emotion, and these pieces are some of the top of the top for those. I think these particular pieces can almost feel easy in a way, not technically easy. The notes are very challenging, but if you just play them at face value, you play the notes and the rhythms as they're written on the page, there's not much that you could find. But once you really start to bend things and find these shapes, there's 1,000 different ways you can shape each of these pieces, and so every time I come to them, I have to make those decisions again on how to shape this particular moment compared to that one, and to create an entire image, a landscape, a character out of this music, which doesn't have any words, doesn't have any sort of obvious grounding in that sort of narrative scene. Come join us for the Four Organists concert, Sunday, January 15th, at the Cathedral Basilica of St. John the Baptist. Tickets are available online.